I received a question earlier today, and it is about the ego. And I thought this was a fairly interesting question, and I wanted to explain it on video as well. So the question goes like this. Hey Billy, I have a question. Should we try to dissociate from our ego, or does it have a purpose? And let's try to answer this. So, ego. This will have varying meaning depending on where you are in your spiritual reckoning. But ego and our identity, our sense of self, right, is less of this static idea. It's less of this thing, but it's more of a mechanism. So, a circuit board is a thing. But what makes the circuit board do a bunch of things is the mechanism of electricity and how it moves past resistors and transistors and logical gates and such, right? So just like that, our ego is a mechanism. Just like how you can have a car. But when you have a car that's actually drivable and is being driven versus all the sum of its parts, what's the difference between the sum of its parts and the car that actually drives? The mechanism in which the car fulfills its purpose. Yes? So, our ego is a mechanism. And that's it. So, when we get punched, we feel bad and we want to retaliate. That's the mechanism of the mind, and that's the mechanism of the ego. When somebody criticizes me, hey Billy, your YouTube videos fucking suck, then I get defensive. That is a mechanism that I have. When someone pantses me in public, I feel ashamed. That is the mechanism of the ego. Okay, so should we try to dissociate from it, or does it have purpose? Well, functionally it has a purpose, because without ego we basically wouldn't really be surviving, right? We wouldn't be here because our sense of biological preservation, right? Self-preservation is always an innate part of us, and that is part of the ego, right? So if we don't have this sense of self, then when, we are cooking, what's stopping us from cutting our hand, right? There's always a sense of self-preservation. We always want to preserve ourselves, keep ourselves from safe from danger and such, right? So, with that, then what's the problem with this? The problem is, and this is less about an ego-specific thing, but it's more of a global thing. When something happens, we have the option of ascribing meaning to it. So, guess what? Clouds. Because there are so many clouds, and because there are so many different patterns of clouds, you are going to see many, 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 many different types of clouds as you are living and experiencing life, yeah? And every once in a while, will the clouds resemble something you know? Yeah, of course it will, right? So, but do clouds looking like an elephant, does that mean I have been selected by the Hindu god Ganesha? It depends on your perspective, right? If you ascribe meaning like that, then it becomes true for you. But just strictly physically speaking, the cloud looks like that because of the atmospheric pressure and the moisture in the air and the condensation and the, blah, 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 all these scientific reasons, yeah? So, okay, it looks like a, elephant, and I ascribe the meaning that it must be like a blessing from Ganesha. I fall over and trip. That must mean because, because how, blah, blah, blah. And Mercury is in retrograde or whatever. Sorry, I don't mean this to dismiss astrology. It's just that I don't really know about astrology. And I flip the tarot card, and then I see some cards, and it must mean something. And Like you look at the clock and it's 4:44 and it's like, oh, it must mean something. So these things happen a lot in life, right? Okay, so I mean, you're free to ascribe whatever meaning you want to things, but the more you ascribe meaning to many different things, what's a natural side effect of that? A natural side effect is the meanings have a higher chance to contradict each other. So based on the horoscope, today was supposed to be a great day. But based on your biorhythm, it's a horrible day. But according to your human design, you thrive on conflict. But based on your trauma, your conflict really scares you. So like, okay, so all these different things mean something, right? So what actually, like, what is it? In the end, what's the prevailing meaning? That is the danger of ascribing meaning to too many things. It just naturally increases the chances of those meanings conflicting with each other. So, which meaning are you gonna let win, right? So, especially when this is related to your ego, right? I'm this type of person, but at the same time, I'm this, and then you have conflicting ideas about yourself, and the more you have these things, and it just has a gateway potential to lead to suffering, which is first and foremost what we are trying to avoid in this channel. Hope this helps, and this was a really great question, and I know that you arrived at the same conclusion that I just described, but I just wanted to give you a little bit more of a flavor, and hope that helps.